Hello ladies and gentlemen, Banzer, and welcome to Beyond Flesh and Blood. And today's video is one of those first look, first impressions type videos. And I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into the critique side of things, because really I feel that this is an indie game that needs a lot of work. And I'm going to explain why I think so in just a moment. So, Beyond Flesh and Blood is a science fiction games revolving around mechs, and that normally would be something I'm very interested in. In fact, why I was interested in covering it in the first place was because it's kind of a reclaiming Earth story, and you take control of a mechanized thing. Yeah. It's a little bit hard to describe, but first things first, options. We have a fair amount of options here, which is good. Motion blur is off, but there is still a fair amount of it in the game for some reason. Depth of field is also off, but the blurring in the game is still fairly significant, and I don't know exactly why. The game's frame rate is an issue, but it is in early access, so I'll kind of let that one slide at this stage, because as we know, optimization and something, it's something that's done at a very late stage, so frame rate will probably improve closer to the final release of the game. So, right now, any frame drops you see, just bear in mind that that is kind of part and parcel of early access. Now, controls are a little bit strange. I'm clicking in some of these things and they don't actually work. They do require you to actually press the button. I'm just going to drop the volumes down a little bit because they are very, very loud. Okay. Yep, that's saved. Right. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the level select. I have a few of these unlocked already. Now, let's see. Where should we start this one off at? I think... Now, it's very interesting that this game has a level system in the sense that, you know, you clear a particular area, that counts as a level clear. I don't really know why they've done it this way. I mean, aside from having the chapter selections, it kind of breaks the gameplay in a way that I don't really particularly appreciate. Right, so I think we should go to this one. Yeah, let's start off here. The drop pod coming in was strangely silent, but again, early access, so we'll give it a little bit of a pass. Now, animations are actually kind of alright. Like, that's actually quite nicely animated. This is our character here. This is a Mark 1 engineering frame, I believe, and it has a little laser at the back there, which is used for a variety of things. And I like the design of it. It actually has a very, very nice design to it. To jump, we actually have to charge up and jump like so. I don't know why, because charging up doesn't actually seem to do anything. And it does actually hurt the frame rate quite badly when we do that, but yeah. So let's move along.
This looks like an old passageway through the blockade. It is centuries old, so watch your step.
Let's just wild our way through these. Strange that it's a welding laser and a cutting laser at the same time, and it has a heat gauge, as you can see underneath the crosshair there.
It looks like our access to the base is cut off. We will have to find another route back later. Good work. But the job comes first. We need to disengage the transmitter that has been interfering with our signal. You will have to remote hack it in order to take it offline.
Right, so this is another mechanic as well that you have. You can interact with things in the world from any distance by using a form of hacking. The voice acting, as you heard just then, is... well, it's not bad for an indie game. It's actually kind of... it's actually pretty decent, which is normally quite surprising. But, yeah, that's actually not bad. The character animations could use some work as well, but... yeah, it seems to be pretty decent for what it is. Alright, let's hack this. And that's going to make it explode, apparently.
That seems to have killed whatever was causing the signal interference. Interesting that there are no records of UGR activity in this zone.
Right, so let's get up over this. We're gonna have to jump to get over the train.
You will have to vault over the crashed Skytram to continue onwards. Such a waste. Nature is relentless if left unchecked. This is Deansgate, one of the main transport routes through Manchester. Now look at it. This must have been a highly populated location before the war. Now, it is nothing more than an overgrown memory. In order for you to remotely control the Mark I engineering frame, a constant signal link with the Australis space station is required. We use signal towers to route this signal to Earthside frames. You are at the limit of the Stronghold signal, so we must call in a tower in order to continue. This will also restore local power. Our Earthside presence depends almost completely on the tower network.
Okay, so you saw the forced perspective earlier, where the camera sort of shifts over and went much further away. That is going to happen a lot, and is one of my biggest criticisms of the game, is that happens far too much. It breaks up the action, breaks up the flow of the game, and a lot of the times feels very, very unnecessary. So, this is Manchester, by the way, so in case you're wondering where we are, this is supposed to be a Manchester after humans have left. So that's why nature has kind of regrown all over it, which actually looks really nice. I like this style. I like the idea that, you know, humans gone, nature takes over. That's kind of cool. And then it falls apart very quickly later on.
That junction ahead is a good location for a signal tower. Without a signal, your frame would just be an empty tin can with no mind to animate it. The site beyond the crater looks clear enough. Call the tower in, Ethan.
Okay, so see, again, that did not need to happen. That camera thing did not need to happen. I could have very easily listened to that dialogue while doing something else.
Signal tower inbound. Brace for impact. In T-minus 3, 2, 1. Tower deploy.
I mean, I'll give it to them, this deploying thing is kind of cool. And then that's gonna fly away.
You will need to hack it in order to bring it online. Once the tower has been raised, power will be wirelessly transmitted. Any old electronic equipment in the area will come online.
And that dialogue box has failed to clear, and he's looking very shocked about it as well. Okay. There we go. So now the tower's online. I gotta say, I like the design of a lot of things in this world. And all the car alarms have gone off, which is always very nice. One question I do have is why there are cars in what appears to be a train station. Also, because we did that earlier with the losing signal thing, the actual losing signal effect is now refusing to go away. And now it's back. Okay, yep, okay. So yes, a lot of things need fixing in this game. So again, this is early access.
My scans show that it is. UGR records show that this building was a packing warehouse of some kind. Be cautious. I cannot imagine they designed these buildings to accommodate engineering frames.
Okay, so really, in this level, there's not much else to really show you, because as we get along, we're just going to be introduced to combat. It's mostly tutorial stuff, so I'm going to jump ahead. Okay, here we go. So let's try that again. So clearly this doesn't work. Or it does. I'm very confused. Okay, so we're going into what appears to be an old strip club. Now the game seems to think I am now using a controller, so it's showing controller prompts. Yes, this is very, very cryptic message that I'm reading. But anyway, if you want to read this, feel free to pause. We're going to move along. So, that is the strange organism that's taking over this place. Now, this is where the camera gets extremely annoying. So the camera has this fixed over the shoulder perspective. You can see in tight spaces that this needs work. This needs a significant amount of work. Let's just go over to this side here. And you can see, we can barely see anything because of how close this wall is. So it feels very, very claustrophobic. I know maybe that was the intention, but it makes it very hard to do anything. There's one section earlier on in the game where we have to traverse an entire tunnel of this scaffolding. And there was a point where you had to jump up, and I couldn't see where to jump up because there was no indication it was there. And the movement of the camera was so difficult that I couldn't actually see the jump up on the platform.
Records show that this building site contains another signal tower. If we activated it, it would expand our tactical options. A recon team left the tower down there after an aborted mission because it was damaged. Our first objective is to get it repaired.
Okay, so go in there and activate the tower. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about, and that's actually something that takes place much earlier on in the game.
I do not want to risk losing this signal if we can prevent it.
Let's see. Okay, yes, it's trying. It actually pushed the camera to that side very forcefully.
Okay, Ethan.
Okay,
it's raising the tower from here. I do not want to risk losing this signal if we can prevent it.
See, I hate when games do that. Okay, watch this again. I'm gonna walk away.
Okay, Ethan. Try raising the tower from here.
Aha.
I do not want to risk losing this signal if we can prevent it.
Surely there's a better way of doing that. I'm just saying, I just hate having the camera being forced around like that. But I wanted to talk about something earlier on in the game, and because of the level system, I can't figure out exactly where or which chapter that happened. But very early on in the game, you have a sort of survival section, like a wave survival section, which is about 1,000,000 waves too long. Honestly, it's one of the first moments where combat is a really big thing. And the problem with that is that the wave survival element took way too long to complete. I understand that, you know, you're trying to teach combat and trying to make because it made sense in the story for there to be a wave survival section, but the wave survival section needed to be much shorter than it actually was. It really outstayed its welcome and got old very, very quickly. But that's just my own opinion because, of course, that's not something I really enjoy doing. But I just felt that it held back the game way too much, and personally I would have liked to see that section be much shorter. Alright, so let's open up this tower here.
As I thought, too damaged. Well, we must risk losing the signal after all.
Okay, so basically that was kind of a pointless bit of exposition then, I guess. Because I don't see how we would not have been able to figure that out from going over there earlier. Oh. Yeah, there are dogs that attack you. And... well, that was needlessly brutal. Also, this splash. I mean, it's kind of like the spray from when a whale surfaces. It's a little bit excessive. Gotta be honest, a little bit excessive. Okay, here we go. Let's get up here. I mean, the little objective marker in this particular level is actually very nicely done. It actually points you in the right direction to go through, because of course when you have sort of scrapyard level design like this, where it's just everything's overgrown and all that, then it gets very hard to tell one platform from another, and that's very, very helpful.
Engage the hack.
So there are some good points.
Auto repair initialized. The tower is up and running.
See, it works from here but not from there. Also, we didn't lose signal at any point. But hey, look, enemies.
remove this threat. The engineering frame should be sufficient for the task.
Yes, punching dogs, which are apparently the size of small cows. But yeah, that is a thing that we do. That is a thing that happens in this game. If you like dogs, like me, this is certainly a very strange thing to be doing. Which makes me wonder what Manchester must possibly be like at this current point in time. Oh god.
Threat neutralized. Good
Yeah.
job, Ethan.
The combat
However,
sections with the
military
dogs are a little bit
situation
strange,
is
I will admit.
worsening elsewhere.
I mean, I
If
really
you
do wonder
return
if
to
Manchester
base,
in
you'll need
the
to do so
present day
quickly.
is like
The
this.
tower you repaired will help. The frame link signal is strong.
Oh, we can't go
If we
through
can
there.
find a suitable drop zone, I think I should equip you for high maneuverability. Get to that elevator, pilot. We can use it to reach the drop pod.
But yes, I
Those
think
scuttling
that's where
bars
I'm gonna
will
leave it.
Use your welding laser to remove them.
I think I'm gonna leave this here because oh, those beams have actually just popped in. But I think I've said all I really need to say about this. It's got a lot of potential. I like the world, I like the design of a lot of things, and I like the animations. But there are a lot of very strange design choices in this, particularly to do with the camera. And just how the camera sort of jumps around at certain stages and forces you into this slow sort of panoramic pan across the environment, which I've seen a lot of games do in the past, not naming any in particular, which I really just don't like to see in games. It slows down the game unnecessarily. So I would like to see less of that maybe as the game gets developed, and of course, you know, when it's better optimized and everything, it'll run a lot better. But yeah, for now though, I think that's really all I have to say about it. It's got a lot of potential, and if you like the style of this game, by all means go ahead and pick it up. It is available on Steam Early Access after all. And if you are if you're like me and you've played this and were hoping for a little bit more than you got, well, then I would suggest waiting on this one, probably putting it on a wish list and following it, seeing how it develops, and if you're still interested in it later on, to go and pick it up then. But definitely ones to be keeping an eye on, because it really is a very interesting world that they've created here. And hoping to see more of it as we get along. But there we go. This is Panzer taking a look at Beyond Flesh and Blood. It's now available on Steam Early Access. Go ahead and check it out if this has interested you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And comment down below if you have any questions about the game. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.